Today we will be going seed and propagule acquisition requests. Before you submit a seed or propagule acquisition request, you need to find a variety. The variety you choose needs to suit the environment which you provide for the hemp plant to grow in. Some common things that you should be aware of when you're selecting your variety is the size of the mature plant, how long it takes the plant to reach maturity, and which would you like to sell. If you're wanting to grow for fiber, you certainly wouldn't choose a CBD variety. Or if you're growing to harvest for seeds, you certainly wouldn't choose a CBD variety. So where to find the acquisition request form? First, you'll find your way to the Department of Agriculture website, which is agi.alabama.gov. You'll go to the Hemp Program Information tile, and you'll go to Forms and Applications. Once you click on Forms and Applications, you will find Submit the Seed/Propagule Acquisition. Finding a reputable source. Before you submit your acquisition, we highly recommend that you do your research on the source that you purchase your material from. If you're getting live plants, they should have an Alabama nursery grower certificate. And that means that they have someone from the plant division of the Alabama Department of Ag come and do inspections at their grow site to make sure that they're clean, pest-free, disease-free, and check for a variety of other things. If you're purchasing seed in Alabama, that dealer must have an Alabama seed dealer's license as well as a permit in their own state to sell seeds. Once you have found a source, you'll begin your acquisition. On the acquisition, it's fairly straightforward. We'll need the company name, the contact person, the mailing address, phone, and email, and that will just all be filled out on this form. On the bottom portion of the form, you'll put the variety name, type of material, which will typically be a seed, seedling, clone, or mother plant, and the quantity and number of packages. Sometimes the number of packages get confused. If you buy 3 ounces of seed and there's 1 ounce of seed in the package, then you would have received 3 packages. If you buy clones, typically clones come in 72 cell trays. So how many ever clones you get, you may have 2, 3, 4, 5 packages. Getting approval. After you find a source and fill out the request that was on the previous slide, you have to wait for approval. Inevitably, every year, someone will submit this application and they think that's their okay to go ahead and order seeds. That is not the case. You will get an official email from our office that says you have been approved to buy that specific variety from that specific source. Once you're approved, you'll receive an email that says you can buy those materials. You cannot allow the dealer or nursery to substitute varieties. You can only get the variety that you are approved for from that source. You can, however, get more or less than what you originally intended to purchase. If you find the same variety from a different source, you will need to submit an additional seed and propagule acquisition request. You can only get the specific variety from the specific grower. Just because it has the same name from a different grower does not allow you to use that acquisition request to buy from multiple sources. Approval email. This is an example of an approval email. This is typically the top portion of the email. On the bottom of it, it'll kind of give you the do's and don'ts of what to do. But at the top of it, it'll tell you your grower license number. It'll say approved or denied. It'll have the name of the hemp source. Once you get this variety name, which in this case it was Super Hemp, which is a fictitious variety, so please don't look to buy Super Hemp seeds. But on the variety name, where it has Super Hemp, that is the name that will be put on every form and every application that you do for the remaining of that season specific to that variety. When you do these acquisition requests, our Food and Drug Lab, they look over each request and they will contact your source and ask for a certificate of analysis, and our lab will go over it and kind of comb through and make sure that they are a legitimate source. All right, receiving your material. If you look on the right, here's an example of an invoice. It has the quantity, the description, a variety name, the unit price, and also the total price. So once you get your material, you will need to upload this to the KRS system. One thing you do not need to include is the price. Some people want to keep that private of how much they paid for their hemp seeds, and that's totally fine. If your invoice looks like this and you don't want us to know the price, you can certainly cover it up or take a Sharpie and cross over it or anything like that. But what we do need to know is the quantity, number of packages, and the variety. If your hemp materials are shipped, please take the shipping receiving documents and they will be uploaded to KRS. You can just take a picture of your shipping label. You can provide the shipping number, anything like that, and that would work. If you receive your plants or seeds in person, if you look on this invoice in the bottom right corner, it's written in, it says received on 10/20 of 22, and it has the initials beside it. If you receive your plants in person, we ask that you just simply write the date at the bottom and initial it. That's all we ask. It's pretty straightforward. We have some people that get confused on things that are hand delivered, and they say, well, we don't have a shipping receiving document, so just write something in. That's all we ask. All right, protecting yourself. In previous years, we've had farmers buy bad clones, buy bad seeds, and here's just a brief overview of things that you need to look for when purchasing. So if you're getting clones or seedlings, live plant material, you are paying for a good product, a premium product. Once you get it, just really look over those plants. Make sure there's no large discoloration. Make sure there's no spots under the leaves or mildew looking substances. Really look them over. Make sure you don't find any insects, or if you do find an insect, make sure it's just an odd insect. Make sure they're not infested. Make sure there's no insect damage where they may have just treated them the day before they got to you. Another thing you may want to look for is even plant growth. If you get 3 packages of clones and one package is 3 inches taller than the other, you may want to ask that grower and say, hey, why are these plants so much larger? Are the other ones sick? Are they diseased? Are they the same age? Because more than likely you're going to want the same genetics throughout your field. One other thing that you can do is just randomly go in and pick 2 or 3 out of the package and see how healthy the roots are. Most of the time, white roots are healthy roots. Make sure the roots aren't spiraling. Make sure they're not root bound. If you go in there and they're brown, pale looking roots, they're probably not happy plants. You certainly may be able to get them to your field and give them a little love and help them grow out of it, but in some cases, some of these things are irreversible and will haunt that plant for its entire life. If you find plants that do not suit your needs or what you're looking for, or they appear to be unhealthy, remember, you are buying this. You do not have to purchase it if you think the plants are not of good quality. You certainly would not go to your local farmer's market and buy, bruised fruit and take home and cook with. You would want fresh, ripe fruit, So you hold the power to say no to what you're purchasing. When you're getting seeds, we have had a large issue with seeds previously. Seeds have drastically improved in 2021 and 2022. But most of the time, these transactions are not done face to face. They're done over the phone or over the computer, which means you really need to do your homework on that source. We ask that you reach out and maybe talk to other growers that have previously purchased seeds. Ask them their varieties they've had, if they've had success with them, if they don't recommend a certain source, reach out to them. You could also try and reach out to your local extension office and ask them, hey, is there any local hemp growers you could put me in contact with, or do you know of any hemp growers of what they may have planted? And they would probably be more than willing to help you. When you're purchasing seeds, they should come in a well-packaged, professional-looking envelope, box, whatever it may be. Some things that they should not come in is a mason jar, a mayonnaise jar, a sandwich bag, or a loose envelope. They should come in something that looks professional. Your seeds should also have a seed tag or seed label, which gives you the information about the seeds. A seed tag or a seed label, it will give you a lot of information. Not everyone has seen one before, but typically on any commercially produced seed that's sold, it will have one. It'll have a lot number, which you see is specific to that variety of seed on that specific date. It'll give you the germination test. Typically, if it's below about 80%, it's probably not that great of a seed. Some seeds typically will have a lower germination rate than other seeds, but it should be about 80% or a little better. Now, inert matter, that is things that are in that seed package that are not seed. Let's see what else would apply to us. The crop date of the seeds. All right. That would be when the seeds were tested. That'll give you the month and the year of when they were tested. Typically, you would want seeds that are within a year to a year and a half of when you purchase them. If you buy seeds and they are 2, 3+ years old, they may be discounted. I'm not saying that they are no good, but in some circumstances, the older a seed gets, the lower the germination rate is on it. Also pay attention to the weed seed percentage. They should be fairly clean. There should be a very low percentage of weed seed in these. These are large seeds, so they're typically easier to clean for the grower. But these are all things just to pay attention and to look out for when purchasing seed. If you have any questions about filling out an acquisition request, please reach out to our office. They'll be more than glad to help you fill out this request. If you would like to speak to one of the regional hemp inspectors, you can use this link right here and it'll carry you to the interactive and regional inspector map. You click on the county that you're in and it'll give you the contact information for that inspector in that area. And again, if you have any questions about any of the forms or need assistance filling it out, please feel free to contact our office. Thanks for listening.